Hey folks, this is Robert Quinn here, your LinkedIn semiconductor industry content provider. I have Pradyumna Gupta with me on the talk today about semiconductor industry, material science, and Infinita Labs and everything that they're working on in this industry and the testing of materials. As we all know, there's so much that goes into the semiconductor industry and being able to make sure that uh, contaminations and we're testing for contaminations and figuring out what types of materials are being produced within those chambers that are operating at super low vacuum and contaminating our products. So it's super incredible to talk to Prady about this industry, about what he's working on in his. You have such an incredible history. I mean, you've worked for Gorilla Glass, you've done so much work within the world of material science. um, can you just give me a good overview of your history and your past and your how you found Infinita Labs and how that happened for you?
First of all, Robert, I really amazed at what you guys are able to pull off in semiconductor industry. The kind of work you do, it is very visible. The kind of following you have is a great service to semiconductor industry. So thanks a lot for that. Appreciate that. It always warms my heart when somebody does something great about material science. I'm a material scientist, a PhD in material science. I worked for companies, as you said, like Saint-Gobain in Boston, in and Corning Gorilla Glass team in upstate New York. Material science is kind of something which I always have in mind. I think that is something which humanity as a whole have to pay attention to. Um, so coming back to your question, I think I was working in the Gorilla Glass team. We were instrumental in getting the Gorilla Glass on a lot of Android devices that were coming up at the time when I was there. Um, I realized that is something which I really enjoy doing. So I went for MBA at Wharton and INSEAD. After MBA, I came to the Bay Area, founded a bunch of companies, but my heart was always in material science. So eventually, I think one of my friend from one of the tech company, material science company in the Bay Area, we met and we were discussing about things, and he said something like that. Oh, they he always have to find labs that can do some sort of testing, and it is like a kind of nagging problem all the time because there are in-house labs, but all the companies, all the companies like Intel, Applied, Lam, everyone has some or other problem that is related to material science testing, that they are kind of, some all engineers are looking for some lab that can do some testing. And I said, why it is problem? Why you cannot just buy instrument? He said, it's we are going to use it like 10 times in a year or 15 times a year, or even if I'm using it constantly, it does not make sense to kind of buy it. Give this problem to me, and I'm looking for something. So I kind of took that problem from him to get the testing done. Got the testing done, and I discovered that there is a whole world out there that that
Problem
testing,
solution.
that actually that's true. It's I realized that in-house labs and companies, I would not say that they are very efficient. The fact is that as we are going in AI, or the pace of innovation is going forward at such a pace, it is very hard to keep the instrument and the skill of a technician who is running the instrument
Yeah.
in sync.
Mhm.
It's just not possible. Like, I used to, when I was in working for companies, I used to see half of the time the instrument is down.
Yeah.
You know, let's face it. Like, the truth is that uh, if a technician has no incentive to kind of keep the keep
Yeah.
the instrument at top shape, and also the fact that just it need constant upgrade, right?
Yeah. Preventative maintenance, right?
When the maintenance. So I think the biggest issue is that the reason why that there is a discovery problem in companies, that engineers are looking for somebody who can do certain test.
Mhm.
There is a discovery issue, and
Mhm.
then there is a issue of getting the samples to the lab, and logistics issue, right?
Yeah.
So that is where we come in, that there is a lot of friction between the companies and the labs, and
Mhm.
that is the problem which we have solved.
Hmm.
So we call ourselves Uber of material testing,
Oh, cool.
because we have the full spectrum of testing available, material testing available, and we have our network of about 2,000 labs
Mhm.
in US, that we get testing done, and it has everything from you know sliced bread to so anything, like you were mentioning about you mentioned contamination, you mentioned composition, you mentioned battery testing, you mentioned there are number of things, like mechanical testing, electrical testing, anything you can, ASTM, ISO, anything you can think of, we are the people who will get it done, and you will get it done at very very fast, and very efficiently, and with accredited labs. So quality will be very very good.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, there's so many different aspects, reason why a tool could be down, right? I mean, maybe the inspection equipment is down for calibration. Maybe it's down because there's a problem with it. We're waiting on a part. But yeah, I can't. There's been many instances in my career where I'm saying, "Hey, I need to run particle checks on this or that," and the equipment is down. And so it is. It's very, it's expensive equipment, first of all. Second of all, if you're not a huge lab, you're not going to have secondaries sitting around waiting to be used as a secondary equipment for if the primary equipment goes down, for preventative maintenance or something else. And so having a resource like what you do is absolutely critical, and being able to work with different labs is important. And like you said, you practically have to have a PhD to understand most of the stuff that most of the testing that you do in this industry. It's really important to have those partners. But I think one of the most important parts that I actually found really interesting with y'all is that you have the professionals and the experiences, and you can talk to a PhD, you can talk to somebody that has the material science PhD background, that understands what you're talking about, then that can have that relationship with you and talk to you about what you need done, and give you advice about your product, and saying, hey, you need to, I would highly, you can do testing this way, but I would highly recommend doing testing this way. And someone that just knows the industry, and knows the testing and what goes into it.
That's a big advantage, that when engineer calls, they have a material scientist, master's level material scientist on the other side,
That's
not
awesome.
a guy who is kind of noting down your contact info and saying that, okay, hey, we'll connect with you later. And that has
Totally.
been very very big thing. I mean, the lab,
Yeah.
before Infinita Lab there were labs. You will call them, and somebody would be there who doesn't know material science, who doesn't have any idea what you're talking about. They will
Mhm.
write down your information, and they'll say, and maybe they forget. I mean, I have seen that myself.
Mhm.
That is another big hurdle, that
Mhm.
somebody would be there, note down the information, and I did not hear from them another week, one
Yeah.
week. And
Yeah.
while I'm kind of in a need to do, let's say, some sort of metrology, advanced metrology, a CMT or something like that. So that is, I think, one of the USP that we have.
Absolutely.
I will also talk about, like, I think big companies have made their engineer handicapped. Right?
Yeah.
Currently, engineers are really handicapped. Their R&D is suboptimal
Right.
because they are not given the full spectrum of testing choices.
Yeah.
So a lot of time, I think you just mentioned it, that engineer come to us and say that, okay, I want to do this particular thing. Let's say I want to know the strength of this bar. I'm giving a simple example.
We need to see more of this research and development in America, and more of this collaboration of company partnerships coming together. And we need to see more R&D here in the U.S. And I'm glad to see that you're able to provide those services for those people.
Certainly. I mean, I'm very happy that Infinita Lab is there. As an American, I feel that we have shipped out all the jobs where we have to work with hands, right? Nvidia designs, Apple designs, and then chips are made in TSMC, right?
Mm,
Somewhere outside. Now, when we don't work on something, basically that knowledge is lost. So those jobs are not there. When I was graduating, those jobs were kind of shipped out where we needed to work with the hand, break the silicon, look at. So that affected the number of job. People will not actually do those kind of engineering, right?
mhm.
So that knowledge, but you will design, but then to a point where if people do not have an idea whatever they are designing, if that how it is made, right,
Right.
then that link should not get broken. Like, we need people, semiconductor engineers, who actually work with their hand, because then they can design much better.
Right. Yeah.
So that link, I think, was kind of broken in
Mhm.
the semiconductor, and I'm very happy that semiconductor manufacturing is coming back,
Yeah.
and there will be jobs where there will be a workforce that would actually discuss these issues. That, okay, how can I decrease the contamination? How I made this nanomaterial membrane which can actually do this or that. That kind of discussion would again start, and I think it is great for the world, great for everyone.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing. It's funny though, because we're this semiconductor engineering technology, and I'm falling in love with physics and material science, and as I'm learning more about artificial intelligence and where things are going with this tsunami of revolution of technology that's moving at us right now. Chips are going to be the foundation of it all. The chips are going to be the foundation, the foundation of every bit of it, and it'll be amazing to see this industry evolve and to see where it goes. We is Moore's law dead? I don't know. We'll see. Like, is how do we continue to improve computational power, and how do we continue to improve architecture and other things? It'll be amazing to watch this industry and to see the growth of the semiconductor industry. But like I said, it's going to be the foundation of every bit of it, and all this technology we see moving at us. And so I'm excited to be a part of it.
I'm excited too. I mean, I think there is a AI Moore's law, something
Yeah,
was looking at, right? So
yeah,
then basically it's very exciting time. I think it is sort of a fork in the road right now. This year,
yes,
or AI, it has brought a kind of fork in the air. Like, every field has kind of there will be a lot of rearrangement. Some of the industry would just disappear. Some of the industries would emerge out of it. Just today I wrote a post about how the traditional coding is dead.
yeah,
There are a lot of coders being fired. The new jobs would be basically in combination
yeah,
of AI plus some field, like material science or mechanical or chemical. People would kind of work with their hand and
yeah.
use the AI to sort of do
Hmm.
these kind of jobs. I mean, it is tough
Yeah,
thing, you know. Materials
moving it.
are tougher than man-made fields. So a lot of exciting things are gonna come. I
Yeah.
totally agree with you.
Talking to you, Dr. Gupta, and thanks so much for coming on the show and talking about material science and everything that's going on with Infinita Labs and everything that you're working on there. But thanks so much for visiting with us, and I hope you have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks a lot for inviting me, Robert. And you guys put out great content. Please keep doing that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great one.